I wanted to talk to you today about elections, and you may well have some tomorrow. They're taking place all over the UK, in Wales and Scotland, and also some councils in England. Now, I don't have an election here tomorrow where I live, but you may well do. And I'm going to suggest strongly that it's well worth voting. Now, you might not know what your local council does. You might think it's not very important to vote in that election. It's just the only important elections are the general election where you can choose government. And that's not true, because actually all elections are important. Your local council decides all sorts of things and has a huge budget. You can decide how to prioritise spending on social services in the area, education, fixing the streets, environmental initiatives. So your local council decides all sorts of things, and it's important to vote for them because it's easier to get somebody, usually easier to get somebody you agree with at the local level than it is at the national level. And why is this? It's because actually local elections are often decided by a very small number of votes. You can stand in a ward where the party has never stood before and you can win, because actually the turnouts tend to be quite low and the margins tend to be very small. So never think that your favoured candidate can't win. Never believe this narrative of, oh, it's the two big parties here because it's the two big parties at the national level. It's not true at local elections. Anyone can, literally anyone can win. It doesn't matter what party got what majority before. It obviously helps them, but it doesn't mean that you can't get your candidate or your party to win if you just go out and vote. So it's important to vote, and you should vote, and your vote does count. These are very important things to remember when it comes to voting tomorrow. Now, you'll probably get a load of literature through the door, lots of leaflets. Depends where you live. If you're in a ward that's considered marginal, where the council hangs in the balance, you tend to get more literature. A lot of this you should take with a great big pinch of salt. There will be people who tell you your vote doesn't matter, or that voting in council elections doesn't matter. These people have an agenda. Ask yourself, why don't they want you to vote? Either they favour the party that's in power at the moment, or they are people who are interested in disenfranchising you. Maybe they are people who are working against your interests. Now, that might not be as malicious as it sounds. It might just be that they are people who think that there shouldn't be any more help for poorer people, and they want to pay less tax. Fine. I mean, that's up to them. But when they tell you there's no point voting, think about why they might be telling you that. Let's say that your party won't win, probably won't win. So you might think, why should I bother voting then? Because I don't like any of the big parties. Well, the reality with voting is your party, your chosen party, is never going to win if people don't vote for them, even if they consider it hopeless. Because the way parties work is they'll look at the wards in the council and they'll target the ones where they've got the most votes. Now, if you're a party where you don't have a majority in any ward, then those most votes might actually be a relatively small number, but you've got to build on something. So if you vote, even if you think it's hopeless, not only might your party win, because as I say, elections are decided by very small numbers of votes at the local level, but actually, even if they don't win this time, they may well win next time. And you'll never know if you never vote for them. So always vote. Always vote. It's a right that people have died for. It's the right that the government are trying to take away from you. Show them that you value that and actually go out and use your vote. So yes, vote. And I'm going to end by recommending you vote Green. Why might you want to do this? Well, social justice, caring about the environment, we're the fastest growing party at local level. As a percentage, we get more councillors elected at each round of the last few local elections. But what Greens do when they get in power is really hold the others to account. There are councils where they've declared climate emergencies, as I'm sure you know. The first one to do this was Bristol, and it was because of Green councillors. Greens get things done. They represent people. You join the Green Party because you really want to help, not for some career or some climbing up the greasy pole. Genuine people, no funding from corporations, no real money to be made, just people who want to help, and they want to help the planet. They've been consistently right for decades about the climate, about social justice, about electoral reform. So back us up, get us in at local level, and you'll see change, proper change, not just career politicians, but people who actually want to do the right thing. you can get more greens in this time, and every single one really helps.